Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. ¿Se escucha? So by the looks of it, my microphone is dying. I guess I should have charged it before coming out here to answer some of these questions. But let's hope that you can hear me. Hello, hello, exploring souls. So today I'm gonna answer some questions. I'm finally gonna get into it. I've been delaying it because I've been trying to figure out how to make the Q&A videos, but decided to finally get into it. So aquí va. So the first question is, what are some of the choices you consider when transferring an idea from an analog medium, like a drawing on paper or a painting, to digital? Damien. So when it comes to transferring from any medium to digital work, I don't actually generally do that. When I do digital artwork, it's usually I start and finish digitally wise. There has been maybe the opposite where I did a painting which was a rainbow candle and I did the sketch of it digitally. I basically did it on my iPad just to get a good idea of what I was going to paint, and I already had the idea in my head, put it on the digitally. It was a quick sketch, and then started working on it on the canvas and then just finished it off there. But generally I don't really go from one medium to the next. It's just a little harder for me because I don't generally like to do things more than once. So doing a drawing and then repeating the same drawing again, it's not very appealing to me. I love new, but I know that it would be a good thing for me to do and to challenge myself to kind of get better at it by redoing things, if that makes sense. As for getting myself out of creative rut, I have to be honest, it doesn't really happen to me. So it's an interesting question because I feel like a lot of people kind of wonder about artist block or rut, like it was mentioned previously. But I think that that's just an idea. It's an idea that people have put down and people believe it's a thing, and they believe that if you're an artist, you're eventually going to get artist block, that it's going to happen, that it's just meant to be, that we all go through that. But I think that it's a mindset because when I stopped believing that you can experience artist's block, I stopped experiencing it, which is why I earlier answered that I don't experience that. That doesn't happen to me. And what I realized is that when my mindset changed, it was just that when I wasn't feeling like getting up and creating in a certain way, it didn't mean I was going through a block or a rut. It just meant that my energy wanted to go towards something else. Because when I'm not creating or painting or any of that, I'm technically still creatively editing and planning and writing and doing other creative things. And so I feel like some people might feel like if they don't have the energy or motivation to get up and do their art, or they don't necessarily have ideas, it's because they believe that's going to happen eventually, so they let it happen. But I think that is avoidable. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm generalizing and not everyone's the same in that area. But I am a huge believer in belief. And like whatever you believe is your reality. And so I feel like if maybe you struggle with ideas, because it's something I don't generally struggle with, but if it's something that you struggle with, that when you do have ideas, that if you write them down whenever you have ideas, then whenever you're experiencing maybe lower energy where you can think up new ideas and maybe you think you're going through artist block, if you have written down your previous ideas, then you have ideas. You can just go back to your book of ideas and then pick something out of that. We'll encourage you to do art every day, even if you don't feel like it, even if it's just a small sketch. Like, it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be something that you're gonna sell. It doesn't have to be anything that you even post. You can literally sketch every day. And the more you do it, the more you get used to it. It's just like a habit. So if you're not used to that, and if you're used to going through periods of time where you create, and then you stop creating because you believe you have an artist block, then you'll continue that cycle. But if you force yourself to draw or to do like crappy art when you feel like you're going through the artist block, I think eventually you won't experience that block because you get rid of the habit of thinking like I'm gonna have a block because it's expected, like you're expecting it, so it will happen. I don't know if that makes any sense, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. And I feel like that's the reason why I don't experience it anymore, because I've changed my patterns and habits and belief around that. What is your favorite time of day or night to create? Are you a night owl? Abel Ortiz Acosta. So I actually am a night owl. I feel like my creative juices start flowing a lot more towards the nighttime, where I actually start getting more energy to do more active work. But it does depend on the day, because not every day I have the same energy. I've actually recently started learning that as a woman, my body changes throughout the month because of my cycle, because there's some weeks that I have more progesterone and some weeks I have more estrogen hormones, and also like testosterone. So it depends on the level of my hormones that I have peaks of energy and times where I need to kind of rest and take it a bit more low key. So it depends on the days, but the days that my estrogen is higher and I have a bit of a peak of energy, I generally feel like in the mornings I like to do more things that require routine. Like, I'm not usually a routine person, but in the mornings I think is the only time that I really technically have a routine, where I wake up and I read and I practice French and Italian. Then I post on my social media and check my emails and all that stuff. And then I make myself breakfast and I try to eat by 12. Like, I don't like to eat in the mornings. My body doesn't really want to take in food right away when I get up. So by noon, that's when I basically start eating. And lately I've started making like brunch so that I can eat by noon with my brother. And then after that, I don't really have much of a routine. I wait for my energy levels to kind of let me know what the day is gonna look like, and whether I'm going to be just sitting down and editing, or I need to just take the day and watch some podcasts or documentaries. And then on other days when I feel my energy peaking and feeling like I really want to get moving and create some paintings or whatever with my hands, then it's usually more towards the evening that I start working on that. This place is very nice to come with friends if you have any. Why are artists important to society? I think they're really important because I think creation is part of our purpose in life. Like, if you were to ask me what I believe the purpose of living is, I think it's to experience. And I think a big way that many of us experience is through creation. I don't know what you necessarily mean by artists, but I really believe that there is an artist and all of us. I think that we all have the capacity to create. We all do in a way, and we just don't realize it. I mean, just cooking is a way of creation. You know, motherhood, that's a huge creation right there. And the ideas we have on a daily basis, they're creations of our minds. And so I think that more than artists being important for society, I think it's important for us to realize what type of artist we are so that we can contribute into society. What inspired you to start your channel? FVJW. I don't think there's one specific thing that inspired me to start it. I wanted to share my art. I had seen my brother do YouTube for many years, and he had wanted me to do YouTube for a very long time, but I never really liked editing. It wasn't a thing that really drove me, so that's the reason why I had never started before. But I think it was also because my brother, like, we had started a YouTube channel like years ago when I was way younger, and we did little skits and comedies, but I wanted to continue doing stuff like that, but I didn't want to be the one to edit it. And so my brother already had his own channel, so it was a lot of work for him, so eventually we kind of just stopped. But then I guess I found something that just like really inspired me, which was creating in different ways. And I think that kind of like pushed me to do things that I didn't want to, like editing. And so I decided to just basically I started with just time lapses, like minimal editing stuff. And I guess my love for editing started growing. And as that developed, I actually started loving more exploration, which is why I started my vlogging stuff, like highlighting some of the things that I do in my life. Is I started enjoying editing and trying new things, and I wanted to experiment more. Initially, it was just me wanting to share my art and expand, just grow, and I'm still doing it. I post every single Friday, and that has expanded to also posting every Sunday. So every Friday I have a video out, a full video out, and then I have shorts on Sundays, and I think I'm gonna keep it like that for now as I get used to scheduling them. I do like to do them ahead of time because I don't like to be on top of things and feel the stress of deadlines. I like to be really ahead so that if I want to take a break or I need to rest or whatever happens, kind of like my sprained foot where it limits me to what I can do, that I have the opportunity to just slow down if I need to. So I stay ahead at least a month with basically everything, with my Patreon content and with my YouTube content. I like to have that edited and scheduled. So yeah, it started off for a different reason than what I'm doing now, and I'm happy with where it's going.